No matter how clean these styles in InDesign file is, InDesign has an inexplicable tendency to apply overrides at the paragraph, character, and object style level. These should definitely be cleaned up. And whatever text editor you use, you will have some version of regular expressions, also known as RegEx. Leverage that to clear out overrides with a quick find and replace. So let's have a quick look at what I mean. Right here on line 10, I see my first one. So this right here. So this is the basis of the page stake. This is page 5. This is the class that is applied for it by that script. And here is an override that nobody asked for. So what I'm going to do is cut that and then go into a find and replace field and paste that in there. I'm going to make sure that regular expressions is turned on, and then instead of that one, because there may be more than one level of character override. Actually, let me just go have a quick look and show you what that means. So here's another one on the site tag that's character override 5. So there's at least 5 in this document. There's a whole bunch. There's 4. There's a whole bunch of overrides that are, it's just lousy with overrides. Okay, so in order to catch all those overrides and not to search for ID gen character override -1, -2, -3, I'm going to use a wildcard here to search for everything with this string and the hyphen, and then \D stands for digit or numeral. So that's what it's going to search for, this string with any number at the end, any single number. If the character overrides go into double numbers, then I'm in trouble. I don't think they will. And then I'm replacing it with nothing. And then one thing I want to make sure you saw here is that there's a word space at the beginning of this string. I want to have nice tidy HTML with the quote marks closed up. So let's do a find and replace on that and see what happens. So it found 17 instances, which is grand. So that's all cleaned up. Now the other thing you want to look for are other kinds of overrides. There may be paragraph overrides. I don't see any at the moment. The other thing I do want to show you though is, so I cleaned that up just in this HTML file. I'm going to save that, but in order to do it on all the HTML files, I could select all of them and then right click or control click and then do a global find and replace. And that's far more useful. You don't have to do it in every single file. So this works in Oxygen, and there are ways to do it as well in Sigil. Let me open that up super quick and show you. So in Sigil, if you were in one of the HTML files, you could bring up the find and replace menu. And in Sigil, you can say a normal search and replace, a case sensitive search and replace, or regex. And then you could ask it to, there's various ways to search. So you can search all the HTML files and it will find every instance of something that you don't want. So there are ways to do it everywhere, just so that you're aware. So this works in Oxygen, but it works elsewhere as well. It's just a slightly different UX on that. So when I replace all on that, now you're going to see that there are, so it found 16 more instances after looking through all those files. Grand. There may be other paragraph or object style overrides that we need to clean out in the whole thing, but I don't see much more in my quick look through. So a little regex goes a long way. If you've never spent time using it, consider running yourself through a tutorial. It's the same thing as InDesign's grep find and replace, just FYI. It's just a slightly different flavor. And if you're moving back and forth between Sigil and Oxygen for whatever reason, just be aware that the flavor of regex is slightly different in Oxygen to Sigil as well. They're always just a teensy bit different, so just be aware of that. So other things to clean up in here, InDesign is now erroneously adding these language tags to all of the HTML, and this is a mistake. It's a change that some developers asked for that InDesign misinterpreted. So I always replace that and just clean it out. So what I'm doing is replacing that word space and the lang equals ENUS and then a closed pointy bracket and replacing it with just a pointy bracket. So that will clean up the HTML quite a bit. Other things that need to be cleaned up. Yeah, it's not in this file. It's in this one here that I want to show you. Okay, so here, this is, I'll make this a little bit bigger. This is the title page, and then this is the image that the title page turned into right here. So here's the page number, which is repeated twice for I don't know what reason. And then there's that frontispiece image. This is what I want to show you. The frontispiece image, which has a figure tag, because that's what we asked it to do. And then here's the fig caption tag. And I'm getting an error, and that's because the fig caption tag needs to be nested inside of the figure tag. So first thing first, I'm going to get rid of the extra div around that figure tag. I just don't want it. InDesign is incredibly verbose about those things. And then I'm going to move that inside the figure tag. So if you're using these kinds of things regularly, if you're using object styles to get figure and fig caption tags, there is no way to get the fig caption tag nested properly within the figure tag out of InDesign. And so that will have to be cleaned up. In addition, I'm going to clean up some extra tags in here. Excuse me. There's an extra small tag in there, and there's an extra small tag here as well. And so that's looking a little bit better. I would also say that this could be cleaned out. Like there's lots to do up here, but probably don't need an ID on that fig caption. So there's ways, basically what you need to know about InDesign is that it overdoes it at every turn. You need to clean up a whole bunch of things. So this basic text frame, don't need it. The language thing here, don't need it. And here's the div that the excuse me, image on the title page is in. And it's in one div and then two divs. And it's a little bit absurd. I always get rid of one of them and then do QA to make sure it's still working as expected. But it's always possible to clean it up quite a bit and to simplify the HTML a lot. Now I want to go back over here. You'll notice that this entire chapter is in one div tag, and that's actually incorrect. It should be a section tag. And here's one of the other nice things about Oxygen over other text editors, including Sigil. When I retyped section over top of that div tag, it changed the section tag at the bottom as well. So if I triple click on this, you'll see where this starts and ends. And it starts at the very beginning and it ends there. This is the frontispiece image from chapter 2, which should be in chapter 2, which that's what's after there. We can fix that around later, but just so you know, there's generally quite a lot to do in here. Here's my aside, which came out nicely in an aside tag with a class of sidebar with an extra div around it. Don't need it. No thank you, InDesign. Off you go. I don't want your extra HTML tags. So that's the basics of cleaning up the HTML. There can be quite a lot to fix up. When you get used to this workflow and to fixing up the HTML, you will find efficiencies using RegEx. I promise you that it can help quite a bit and make your life a little bit easier.